Hello everyone, this is James Shore with another test-driven development video. It is still May 27th. I'm picking up right where I left off. What we were trying to do is get the icon to show up properly when we have an invalid icon or invalid value in our $text field. Which, wow, it is not showing up properly. Yikes. Okay. So this is where the opacity comes in, apparently. We need that panel to be transparent. Not the icon, but the panel. So that's okay. We'll just go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and factor this out into a local variable called icon panel. Now I've got that here. Yeah, I might as well make that, promote that up here like I did with the others. There's an automated refactoring that will do that for me, but I don't know the keyboard shortcut for it, so that was just as quick for me. Okay. Should be contained within a panel. Oh, I need to say get class here. There we go. All right, now that panel icon panel should be transparent. There we go. That's more like it. Now what we need to do is we need to get this to show up on the right-hand side. Previously I'd used a flow layout, but I think the border layout approach actually works really well, so I'm going to use that instead. So of course that will fail. And is easily fixed. Now that doesn't actually do everything we need. Just because we have a border layout doesn't mean it's in the right spot. We need it to be on the east side. And actually, I'm not sure if that's working the way it's supposed to. Let's try. I might need to use the flow layout after all. Of course, that should still pass. No. Oh, it does show up in the right spot, but it doesn't have the right spacing from the end like the flow layout does, which was gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and use the flow layout after all. Now the fact that it works so neatly inside of that text field could easily be a coincidence, which is why I have a note to test against other look and feels like on Windows. But again, since the purpose here is more for me to run this on my own computer, I'm not as worried about it. Also, it's not something, it's going to affect the look of the application, but it's not functional. It's not going to cause it to produce bad data. So it's a lower priority for me. But mostly, I mean, the look of an application is actually quite important. So really, it's not so much about it not being a severe issue, is that it's really about this not being for other computers. So it's not something that I need to make a priority. Okay, lastly, I need to have that flow layout. What do I need it to do? There's a very specific way I had it set up. Oh, I needed to use the right, whatchamacallit. So let's see if I can pull that up. The question is there any way for me to figure out what alignment of it does? And the answer is yes. I can just ask the layout for its alignment. So let's factor this out. And actually, let's call it icon layout. Pretty sure there's a get alignment. Oh. The fact that I'm casting this to a flow layout does make this somewhat redundant, but I'm going to leave it in for just for communication reasons. Okay, expected 2 was 1 because of the way Java, because of the way Java deals with enumerations by default. There we go. And now I think if I run this, it should be pretty good. There, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. Okay, there we go. We have a working $text field with a warning icon. That is just fantastic. It is just fantastic. I love it. Okay, so that takes care of that. That's a big, big step. And we did create an abstraction, not a method, but a field. We're showing that the icon is showing up in the correct location. Wow. That finishes up the $text field almost. We do have one more to do, which is the tooltip text. Specifically, we need that icon to have the correct tooltip text. Now, I think it's the label that has the tooltip text. You know, we have this get icon method, or no, we don't. We have get and set text, and we need that. Yeah, so let's see. We set icon. Yeah, we say it's visible. And we want to say it starts with no tooltip. That should pass. It's either null or an empty string. I think it's null. Yeah. And we want to say it should set tooltip text. And we don't care what the tooltip text is. That protects us against changes and minor detail changes in the way dollars works. We'll just say it should not be null. Yep, there we say it should set the tooltip text, and then we'll code it. Quite simple. We'll say let's see, icon label. Dot, field dot icon label dot set tooltip text. And this is kind of cool. This is one of the things I like about Java's inner classes, is it has access to the private variables of the enclosing class. Even although if this class was not an inner class, it wouldn't. In this case, it does, because it's written in the same file. It's obvious that I'm working on these things together. So I really like that aspect of the way Java deals with this. Okay, so there we go. Now when we hover over that icon, we should see invalid dollar amount. Perfect. And like I said, in the future, we may choose to be more specific. But for now, that's good enough. There. Done. Done, done, done. Let's take a quick look, see if there's any refactorings that need to be done here. One thing I'm wondering about is we really don't need the setIcon method to be public. It could be private. I'm wondering if we really need that. It does make tests a lot easier, though, because of the way we want to just make sure that this is all working properly, that we're setting it visible and invisible like we should. So given that we're doing that, I think it makes sense for this to be public. It also makes sense for a $TextField to have a setIcon method, even though we're calling that method through here. It makes sense. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and create a setTooltip, a setIcon tooltip method as well. That obviously doesn't exist yet, but it's about to. I'm not writing an extra test around this because it's so trivial. I sometimes will not write tests on a one-line method that just forwards on to another method. Partly because it is being tested by that other code, but partly because it's correct by inspection, except when it's not. Well, if it's not, capitalization issue. There we go. There. Ooh, look at that. I've been promoted to Master TDD. I need to give that guy a name. He's a cute little mascot. Fred doesn't seem appropriate. I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. And that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks very much for joining me. We have really, I think, knocked this one out of the park. It's awesome. Everything is really clean here. I think we're done with this section of the code. Now we can move on to going back and adding significant new features like all the remaining text fields. So thanks again for joining me. That's it for my recording today. I will see you at the end of June with some new episodes. Go ahead and leave me comments and let me know what you think and what you'd like me to do next. I will see you then.